All right, let's take you back now. As promised, we are joined by the Madlanga Inquiry spokesperson, Mr. Jeremy Michaels, and this is on the back of the meeting between the acting police minister, Firoz Kachalia, and the National Police Commissioner, General Fani Masemula, on the political killings dockets. Mr. Michaels, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Have you been appraised of what the workings are going to be around these dockets? What have you been told thus far?
Good evening, Polly. I think firstly, we want to say that obviously, the terms of reference of the Commission include the matters related to the political killings task team. And so it is understandable that there is this anxiety around the matter of the 121 dockets. Having said that, from the Commission's perspective, and we have said this recently, that from an infrastructure perspective, both in terms of the venue and secure and safe ICT infrastructure, that had not been in place until recently. And in fact, the process of securing both the venue and ensuring that the ICT infrastructure is fully functional is still underway. So effectively, that means that in terms of these dockets, one, the Commission is doing what is necessary in terms of liaising with the relevant authorities to ensure that its investigations are not compromised, but also it's important then, as I say, to understand that until this point, and we are still in the process of ensuring that all the necessary infrastructure is in place safely and securely to advance the Commission's investigations.
I think what I'm picking up from your comment, Mr. Michaels, is the integrity, a safe and secure environment that will ensure that these dockets are kept safe. Is there such a, do you have such infrastructure to ensure that these dockets indeed will be kept safe? Because the understanding is that there is classified information that should be safeguarded so that it is not for public consumption.
So I think firstly, just to clarify, in terms of the Commission's venue, the Bridget Mabandla Justice College, which, as you will know, is located in central Pretoria, we, in fact, were there today with the relevant agencies, law enforcement agencies, and ensuring that it is ready for the Commission to take charge of that venue properly. So in other words, there is a process by which that venue needs to be swept, and a number of other security measures before it is locked down and handed over to the Commission. So that is underway. So that's in terms of the physical location of the Commission. And then, as you know, for example, in terms of the cybersecurity, the network, and in fact, all the hardware and software, that has been procured, but the Commission is in the process of testing that hardware and software and making sure that it is fully functional for the investigators and the evidence leaders then to be able to utilize the ICT infrastructure to advance the investigations. Having said that, of course, the team has been doing whatever it has been able to do without that infrastructure in place to advance the investigations. And there's quite a lot of work that has been done in that regard over the last few weeks.
All right. I'll come back to the question around the start date, because I think that seems a logical question then, if you've gone to the extent of actually visiting the venue to ensure that indeed it is going to be a workable environment. But before we get there, the president at the weekend, through media reports, raising questions around the integrity of these documents and, of course, their handling, given that they are now in KZN, we are told. Are you happy as a commission to work with copies as opposed to originals?
Look, Polly, again, I think it's absolutely, completely understandable that there is a lot of anxiety related to, and because the allegations that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi made have very grave implications for the criminal justice system, for the integrity of our law enforcement agencies. And that, of course, is part of the brief of the commission to investigate whether criminal syndicates and drug cartels and so on have had undue or have influenced the law enforcement agencies, including the SAPS, and that then includes the Political Killings Task Team, Crime Intelligence, and in addition to that, other law enforcement agencies, the State Security Agency, the Department of Correctional Services, the 3 metros in Gauteng, and so on. There's a long list and a wide range in terms of the scope of the terms of reference. So it's understandable that there is that anxiety, given the seriousness of the allegations. Having said that, the commission will do what is necessary on its part to ensure that its investigations are not compromised. And obviously, it is a very sensitive matter. I don't want to divulge any further detail in that regard. Except to say that we are doing what is necessary on our part.
Here's a slightly complicated question, and I hope I'm not going to muddle it up so that it is simple as is possible. So while the commission is going to be continuing with its work, the police, on the other hand, are also just as determined that work on the ground around these 121 dockets, that continues as well. Could that complicate the work of the commission to an extent that it could have a compromising effect? Did I ask that question clearly for you?
Not quite, but I will try to answer it in the way that I'm understanding it. Firstly, the police have a constitutional mandate, as I think has been said today and as you were discussing earlier. And I don't think anyone would want the police to stop doing the work that they should do reasonably. The commission has very clear terms of reference, which were gazetted, it's been proclaimed, and so within the scope of our work, obviously, if there are discussions that are necessary with the relevant law enforcement agencies, whether that is the SAPS or any others, the commission will engage with them to deal with any concerns that we may have in terms of the impact of their actions on our investigations. But they have their work to do, and we have our work to do, and that work must continue. I think the public also expects that the relevant or these various investigations should proceed within the confines of the law.
Final question, therefore, and it goes back to the start of the work of the commission. When is that likely, you think?
So, as I was saying, Crowley, the team is seized with testing the ICT infrastructure, the software, undertaking training and testing simultaneously. And so, given what has happened recently, we are obviously cautious about pronouncing on a new date. But I think safe to say that an announcement will be made within the next couple of weeks. And we understand the public's anxiety to have the public hearings, and of course understanding that there are certainly going to be hearings that are going to be held in camera, but we understand the public and the nation's anxiety to hear some of the key witnesses' testimony in public. But also, it's important to say that the Commission's work has been continuing behind the scenes, regardless of the constraints that we've faced. And also important to understand that the Commission is essentially a new organization. We have set up very urgently, structures, appointed staff, and of course, we unveiled, Justice Madlanga unveiled the team, the senior team, a few weeks ago. So the work has been continuing whilst we are simultaneously putting the necessary in place.
I really am happy to let you go, but I can already hear in my head people's anxiety that you talk about being heightened to say an announcement is only going to come in a couple of weeks' time. How do you respond to people who say that means that the work of this commission is likely compromised before it even starts then? Is that a fair question?
It is a fair question, of course, Polly, and many people have been asking that question, in the mainstream media, on social media, and so on. But the reality is that we have moved with as much speed as possible. Having said that, we also obviously need to be meticulous about the processes that are prescribed by law and indeed the regulations and the rules of the Commission. So I think it's very important for us to say that we are conscious and we have very serious responsibilities on our shoulders. We've obviously taken that very seriously and are moving with the necessary speed. But in terms of the date, as soon as the systems have been tested and we are absolutely confident that they are fully functional, we will make an announcement. Whether that is in a matter of days or a week or two, we will know as soon as we are ready, and we will make an announcement as soon as we are ready.
Jeremy Michaels, thank you very much for your time speaking on behalf of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Thank you very much for your time.